This YouTube stream of Duty First, a family sacrifice for service, is presented by the National Veterans Memorial and Museum.
Package from?
Daddy!
Okay, get in the car. Come on, Jack. Sergeant Reintegration, come home with us.
The National Veterans Memorial and Museum, a space here in Columbus dedicated to honoring the legacy of the courageous men and women who answer the call to serve our country. For so many of our veterans, that service happens as a family. You're about to see that play out for a Central Ohio family in the Ohio National Guard, in their own words, through interviews and video diaries. While their soldier is overseas, back home it's still about getting everyone off to school, ball games and recitals, the holidays, and in this deployment, a global pandemic that would change everything. But before all that, let's go back to the summer of 2019, where this deployment begins, and meet the Rozanskis. Tell us what you all are preparing for in your family right now.
That my unit is being mobilized to go to the Middle East.
The last time you deployed, what did family life look like for you?
You know, 15 years ago, it was just me. You know, I didn't have kids, and so you weren't really leaving anything behind. I mean, this time I'm leaving a home and kids, and
It's different.
Yeah.
So our oldest is Jack. He's 10. He is our baseball player, sports guy, typical 10-year-old boy, I think. Our daughter Reagan is 9. She is probably the kindest soul I think I've ever met. She is just an amazing, amazing daughter. She's a helper, loves to be with her little sister, and she's my savior. She helps me out a lot while Alex is gone. Then we have our 6-year-old Jacob. He is our personality in the family.
We need backup! Backup! Backup!
You guys will love him. He's something else. And then we have our sweet little Emily, who's 3. And it's been the hardest for her, I think, because she does not understand what's going on with Daddy.
You know, we always say that, you know, Daddy has to go to work. I don't know. I don't know if we necessarily talk about it. I mean, we just say Daddy's gonna be gone. You know, Daddy's been gone before, but Daddy's gonna be gone a little longer.
Right. Our older 2 get it. They have a time sense now. They understand what a year means. Our 6-year-old is still clueless. His questions were more, "Well, are you going to be here for Thanksgiving?" "No, Daddy won't be here." "Well, you'll be back for Christmas." "No, Daddy won't be here." "My birthday, you'll be here for my birthday." "No, Daddy won't." So the best way we kind of put it for him was, when Daddy leaves, you're going to 1st grade. When Daddy comes home, you'll be going to 2nd grade. And then that little light bulb finally went off in his head, and he went, okay. And then he finally started to get it. I just think for him, truly understanding what a year was, he's just not there yet. I'm just trying to slowly, you know, piece it together for them of what it's going to be like when it's a whole year.
You know, the military service is a profession. You know, and some professions are, you know, more hazardous than others. I mean, there's a lot of family history there with my grandfather and my father served, and, you know, my brother serving. It's just something I enjoy doing. I wouldn't do it if it wasn't rewarding. I think given the training we do and the intensity of the training and some of the really cool stuff you kind of end up doing, you know, when it's all said and done, it's like, wow, that was really...
He just likes blowing things up.
I joined, you know, 1997. I think I was still a junior in high school. I joined the Marine Corps Reserve, and this is before 2001. I mean, there was no war on terror, and the Reserve, the National Guard, really didn't mobilize or deploy ever. Right. I mean, I just thought this would be something cool to put on a resume, get some college benefits. You know, I thought, heck, World War III would have to break out before they activated the Marine Corps Reserve.
2 years deployed before.
But it happened. So after 2005, been there, done that, got the t-shirt. I'm a combat veteran, that's all I needed. Now it's time to start a family. I think after 2005, I think I did have that mentality. You know, I'd been there, done that, I did my part. I was done. And I think I told you that, you know, because I think that's part of our agreement about getting married was, you know, I will only marry you if
I look
you,
like a really bad wife right now, don't I?
No. Yeah. She would only marry me if, you know, after the deployment I was done with the military.
Well, and in my defense, that deployment for me was horrible. We were young, we weren't married, we were, and, you know, obviously engaged and building a house together, and we were excited to start our lives when he came home, but with every day turning on the news and seeing explosion after explosion after explosion and just death after death pouring in, it really became a perspective to me of, this isn't just some cute young Marine that I met and fell in love with. This is the reality and the dangers of what he does. And I just don't think we expected that. So for me to be able to handle that, I didn't know if that was a lifestyle I could live. And that was kind of what our talk was. Mm-hmm. But then it changed.
Yeah, 2011, I joined the National Guard just to check this out. Yeah. I was looking for a part-time job anyway, so it was either, you know, I don't know, maybe work at Lowe's in the evening, or heck, let's join the National Guard. Just a little extra income, but so I enlisted in the National Guard, and literally, I don't know, 6 months after I enlisted, my brother was killed.
Second Lieutenant Nicholas Rosansky from Dublin, Ohio.
The fact that he died months after I joined, I think then, I mean, it almost immediately hit me. It's like, wow, this is, well, I'm in for the long haul now. You know, I can't stop now, because I'm not doing this for me. I'm doing this for him. And I felt obligated to do it for him. You know, not just him, but also the Marines I served with, and you know, the other service members that have died. I mean, they have careers, they have dreams, they had, you know, aspirations, you know, in the military, and I feel like I owe it to them to you know, continue the fight for them.
Where does that come from for you to find the inspiration in continuing that fight?
You know, they took my brother out of the fight. They didn't take me out of the fight. So if I stop serving, if I stop fighting, then, you know, then in my mind, I think the enemy has taken both of us out, you know, and they haven't taken me out yet. If anything, they've emboldened me. You know, his death in a way is sort of a force multiplier. You know, it inspires me, it motivates me. You know, and some of the training, when it gets rough and it stinks, and you're like, why am I here? You know, I think about that. That inspires me to keep going.
How do you explain that to kids, or do you even approach it in that way?
I don't think we really thought about explaining it to them. Unfortunately, it kind of reared its ugly head to us in a way that I wasn't expecting. I got a phone call at school one day when I was teaching. It was right after we told the kids that Alex was being deployed. I picked Jack up at school, and we were driving home, and I said, buddy, you know, what happened? And he said, Mom, it's the start of it. And I said, what do you mean it's the start of it? And he said, he'll start leaving little by little, and then he's gonna be gone. And he said to me, how do I know Daddy comes back? Because Uncle Nick didn't. And I never thought in their little minds they would piece and process, because we were trying to, I think, shelter them from it. And at that moment I said, you know what, Uncle Nick was in a different situation. He was in Afghanistan. It was a different time. This is a different country. Daddy's doing different things. And I'm reaching in my head of trying to pull out everything I can to console, you know, at the time, a 9-year-old. It just was hard. And I started crying, and he's crying. And I said, you know, the only thing we can do is we pray that Daddy comes home safely.
This is us. It's our unique story.
A lot of people view it as he serves. Well, no, it's not just him. It's me. It's the 4 kids. It's my parents. It's his parents. It's everybody that helps us who feels that impact, that sacrifice of him being gone. It's a sacrifice we knew. And when I agreed to say yes to him to go be an officer, because he did want to take that journey like his brother, I knew this was coming. it's just until it's finally here, you don't really understand what it's going to feel like, especially now that we have the 4 kids.
What's your daddy's job?
He goes in the army.
Well, your daddy has a big trip coming up. What can you tell me about that trip?
He's going for a long, long, long time. Like, we'll be in a different grade when he gets back.
A different grade.
I'll be in 2nd grade.
When he comes back? What are you gonna miss about your dad?
Spending time with him and giving him hugs.
This is my last day home until this time next year. You know, you think you're ready. This is what you signed up for. You know, you think you're committed. You know, you're committed to deploy. You know, to serve the military, serve your nation. But now you just start doubting yourself. It's like, wow, why am I doing this? You know, is it worth it? Is it worth being away from my family? You know, I'm not here to help my wife. You know, I just don't want her to resent me. I don't want my kids to resent me. You know, look back, it's like, well, maybe, you know, I've done my part. I've deployed once. You know, I've been shot at. I've been in combat. You know, Lord knows myself. You know, my family's been through a lot. You know, losing my brother. You know, I've you know, some people say I've done my part, but you know, it's not what it's about. It's about, you know, it's about that commitment. You know, the military doesn't see it that way. They shouldn't. You know, my country asked me to, you know, they didn't ask me, they told me they need me to deploy. You know, if they didn't need me to go to the Middle East, you know, then I wouldn't be going. So I'm obviously needed.
So tomorrow is the call to duty ceremony, the day I've been dreading since Alex told me about his deployment. And it's that day that kind of stays in your mind and you know it's coming, and then all of a sudden, boom, it kind of crept up on you, and now it's here, and you're thinking to yourself, did I prepare the kids the way we needed to? Did I take care of making sure all the utilities were in my name and his name, and the bank account is in my name and his name, and is everything up to date with our will, and is everything the way it's supposed to be? So, you know, we sat down, we did those things, but still there's that piece of you that really wonders, is everything really ready? It's kind of like when you go on vacation and you're on the airplane and you're thinking, I forgot something, and in your head you're like, it's okay, if I forgot that extra toothbrush, I can buy it when we're there. But this is a little different. It just feels different. So today was full of family time and loving on Daddy and watching good friends come in and say their goodbyes. But today was hard. Today was hard because my 6-year-old said, Dad, can you come out in the yard and throw the football with me, because you're not going to be here for a year, and I want you to see how much better I am when you come home. And that made it hard for me to watch them play a family game of football, knowing that for a year he's not going to be here for those family games, and that's hard. It's our duty as Americans, and it's our duties as military wives and families to say those goodbyes and,
Get out, are you? Yes, sir.
and do this ceremony and listen to how important it is of what our soldiers are going to be doing. But at the same time, there's that selfish piece of me who wants to say, no, it's somebody else's turn. But it's his turn, and we'll go, and we'll be proud, and we'll watch. And I'll just keep reminding my 6-year-old that while Daddy's gone, you better keep working on that football throw, because you got to be better before he comes home.
That's
have enough to sustain me for a year.
Heavy, heavy.
It's hard to believe it's finally here. Been training for months, and it always seems like it's so far off, but the day's here, and it's hard to believe. It's hard to believe that this is the last time I'm going to see these guys for possibly a year. From here, we're going to Fort Bliss, Texas. We'll be there for I don't know, anywhere 4 to 8 weeks before we head to the Middle East. 15 years ago I deployed, and I didn't have these rugrats. I was engaged to Melissa at the time.
It was just different.
It's different, and I know they're going to change in a year. I know she's definitely going to grow in a year. Just even the times I've been away for a month or two, the amount she's grown. I can't imagine how much she'll grow in a year. They'll all be in different grades. I'm just afraid I'm going to miss out on so much. I also worry about my parents who, the last time my family deployed, my brother didn't return home. So, in many ways, I don't want to let him down. In many ways, I continue his career for him. So if I fail, he fails. And I don't want to let Nick down. So that's why I'm here today.
Who wants to say goodbye first?
Have a hug. Take care of your mommy, okay? Take care of your sister.
Yes, sir.
Okay, one last squeeze. Brzezinski sandwich. One last Brzezinski sandwich.
I'm looking cross.
So today was that day. The day that I've kind of been dreading since February when I knew that Alex was being deployed. Because I'm gonna miss him. I'm gonna miss him so much. And I know I'll see him again. But it's not the same. Not the same when you see somebody on the TV or the computer or wherever you're talking to them at. Texts aren't the same. Emails aren't the same. It's that touch. It's that touch of his skin and his face that I miss. So I'm gonna give myself a couple days to be sad, a couple days to cry. And then I'm gonna put on my big girl pants. I'm gonna pull it together, and I'm gonna be the mom that my kids need me to be, and the teacher that my kids at school need me to be. And I'm gonna rock it. I'm gonna be strong for them. But I know the next couple of days, it's okay. I'm gonna cry, and I'm gonna try to do it. I'm gonna try to do it when the kids aren't around. I'm gonna try to do it in my own bedroom because I don't like the kids to see it. I think it's okay that they know I'm sad, but I don't want them to see the big weakness moments that I have, like right now. So maybe tomorrow's a new day, and maybe tomorrow I won't cry as much. But for tonight I'm gonna cry, and I'm gonna think about how much I love him, and I'm gonna think about how I'm gonna do this by myself. Yes. I got it. Can you get your shoes back on, please? I feel like I'm handling things pretty well with the husband being gone. There's been challenges for sure. Definitely trying to work out our schedules and get used to him not being able to help me with things. I think I'm doing a pretty good job. My PTO at school where I teach, one of the moms started a meal train for us. And I said, no, I don't need it. She goes, yes, you do. No, I don't need it. She said, you're gonna take the help and you're gonna say yes. And so we have been getting meals twice a week from families at my school.
Touchdown!
Okay. Do you miss Daddy?
Yeah.
You do? How much?
To Finny times Finny times Finny times Finny times family times Finny.
That's a lot of infinities.
Okay.
Yeah. And Veterans Day is coming up, isn't it? What do we say to our veterans? What do we tell them?
Thank you for your service.
Thank you for your service. That's right.
Hello, Liberty Elementary. I'm U.S. Army First Lieutenant Alex Rosansky. This Veterans Day, thousands of U.S. Armed Forces members, including myself, are deployed overseas in countries such as Kuwait, where I am.
Amazon Prime has been my best friend. They ship over there for us. If you're a Prime member, it's covered. He's like, I need this. I'm like, sure, I'll send it to you. Not a problem. Everybody ready? Happy Thanksgiving! Happy Thanksgiving!
Life moves fast during a deployment. Before Alex left the country, the family actually got one more chance to give Dad a squeeze. Melissa and the kids hopped on a plane to Fort Bliss, where he finished his training in the U.S., preparing for what's to come. But no one could predict what was ahead, the emergence of the coronavirus, and before that, growing unrest in the Middle East that would change Alex's mission completely and bring back some unsettling memories. But at this point, with the kids, Melissa's focus is the holidays, and it's different as a family of 5.
I was really struggling to get into the Christmas spirit, and it's hard because I know that I need to be in the Christmas spirit for my kids, and the magic of Christmas is something that Alex and I just love having with the kids. It's probably our favorite thing about being a parent, just the magic of Santa Claus and Saint Nick, and the magic of what we all believe. So basically when it came time to get the tree up and get everything out, I emotionally just had a really hard time thinking about putting up our marriage ornaments that we got, or the kids' baby ornaments and things like that. And it just almost felt wrong that I was putting these things up and he wasn't here. I'm sad because he's not here to see it and do it with me. It really was hard for me. And I told the kids, I said, Mommy's not gonna decorate for Christmas this year like she normally does. Not because I wasn't in the holiday spirit, but also because it just takes a lot of time and energy to do those things along with everything else. When Reagan suggested, let's do a red, white, and blue tree, it was my saving grace. It was almost like divine intervention that my sweet little child saved me because I just couldn't do it.
So I realized Mommy was in the basement just getting the Christmas tree out. And then I had an idea, what if we did a patriotic tree, all red, white, and blue? The garland for the tree, there's stars, and then the star on the top is red. Me, and Jacob, and Emily, we helped Mommy put up the Christmas decorations. I thought it was gonna be hard for her, so I decided to wanted to do this for her.
What's your favorite part of this tree?
The boots under it.
We thought they would be best under the tree. Emily is really big into Aladdin right now, and Jasmine is her favorite princess. Daddy decided that she had to have this, of course. So he pretended to dig it out of the sand and sent me pictures of him digging this out of the sand. And she got it in the mail and was just beyond excited, wasn't she? So you got a t-shirt from Kuwait and you got a t-shirt. Jacob got a camel.
What's it say?
It says Camp Bearing Kuwait. And then it says,
I miss you.
I miss you.
Merry Christmas.
Well, we've made it to January, and it's kind of hard to believe that we can finally say in 2020, this is the year Daddy comes home. Christmas Day was definitely a little bit different this year for us than it normally has been. It was extremely difficult not having Alex home. The kids are amazing. Just watching them and watching them process everything and seeing how resilient they are was very heartfelt, honestly. And it was really nice because we got to talk to Daddy and put him on the computer. So he got to watch the kids open all their presents that Santa brought them. And he had that connection with them. And I think what was the best was when we first got on the phone, he had just gotten back from United Arab Emirates and was opening the box that we sent him for Christmas. So it was nice to see him open his gifts, and the kids were adorable. All 4 of them were kind of huddled around the computer, and they were more interested in watching their dad open the gifts that they had picked out and that they had sent him. And they cared more for that than they did about all the presents sitting under the tree that Santa had brought. So as much as it stinks that he's not here and we didn't have that experience with him here, that's an experience that our kids will have that hopefully they remember. And down the line, they can say, I remember my dad did that. And I remember this one Christmas where he opened his presents and we watched. And it's just memories that we've created for them. And it's an experience. And that's, I guess, how I'm starting to look at this. This is an experience for all of us. And Christmas break was wonderful. It was nice to be off of work and not teaching and have some downtime and really just spend the time with the kids and do those sorts of family things. And, you know, the new year came and went, and unfortunately things in the Middle East have not been what we were expecting. We were expecting this to be a quiet deployment for Alex over to Kuwait, and he did get moved to a secure location out of Kuwait with the anticipation of having to go into Iraq. We knew he signed up for this. We knew this was a possibility. These are the sacrifices we agreed to make as a family, but at the same time, this wasn't what we were expecting. Hopefully things in the Middle East settle down. Who knows? It's hard to say. But for right now, I sit and wait. I know if I get a text message from him that says, you know, I'm going off the grid for a while, it's probably not good news, and that he's probably going to a place that we weren't anticipating. So hopefully that's not the case. And we'll just kind of sit and wait and keep, you know, trucking along and doing our thing here and keeping things normal. That's what we do. We just try.
We're following some breaking news in Iran, where the Pentagon confirms more than a dozen ballistic missiles were launched at 2 Iraqi bases housing U.S. troops.
I just saw the headline. And when I saw the headline, that sick feeling comes back over you of, here we go again. He said, you know, I'm going to go off the grid for a while, and I have to turn my phone off. And I knew instantly. And I said, okay, can you tell me where you're going? And he said, I can't. And it instantly just, those memories started coming back of what it was like the last time when he was in the Marines and he was there and what had happened. And to start thinking of, well, we have troops over there. Part of his unit is in Iraq. Were they, you know, at that base? I don't know where they're at. So days and days and days of, where is he? What's he doing? The kids asking, why hasn't Daddy called? Daddy's been, you know, can we text Daddy? I want to No, you can't, buddy. I'm sorry. We are in a time in our society where technology is always there. I can text him and just say, I'm thinking about you, and he can respond. When he was in Iraq the last time, he went out on mission after mission after mission. I had no idea where he was. I had no idea what he was doing. My only way of knowing that something had happened is I would see it scroll across the bottom of the news. That was it. So last night I'm sitting in bed thinking, I don't know which is worse. Is it worse knowing every single detail and getting the text that says, but? Or is it worse sitting at home watching the bottom of the screen and then waiting to hear from them? I honestly don't know. I've done both now. And I feel like I'm so connected to him, even though he's halfway around the world, that when I lose that connection this much, and I hear the word but, where are we? So it's just been very challenging trying to figure out which is the best direction to take it. We just have to say it's gonna be okay. I feel selfish because I didn't ever think to ask you, are you okay? Emotionally. I knew he was okay physically, but emotionally and mentally, are you okay? Because you have not been back into Iraq since like 45 of your Marines were killed. And he said, I did not think this is what this was supposed to be. He said, I feel like I'm destined for war. And when he said that, I went, oh my gosh. Like, I've been so selfish thinking how horrible it is for me because I don't know where he is. I don't know what he's doing. But he's thinking, I don't know if I can go back in there. This is not someplace I ever thought I would come back to. And so to hear you're grown, a grown man, a husband of strength, and we joke around that he's our G.I. Joe, our war fighter, but to hear him say, I feel like I'm destined for this, it really was like a smack to me of, oh my gosh, like what's he going through? So that kind of put everything into perspective for me. But then last night when I talked to him, he said to me, our mission over here was Operation Spartan Shield. We were supposed to come over here. We were going to train. We were going to work with the Army in UAE. We were going to go to Saudi Arabia. We were going to do all these wonderful things. And he said, I was excited. Like, this was great training. And he said, we're not doing that anymore. That's on the back burner.
And I said, can you tell me anything? And he said, all I can say to you is, we are preparing. And I said, don't say anything else. And he said, you know what we're preparing for. And I said, please don't say it. And he said, okay. But you know, and I said, I get it. And he said, if I text you our code word, you know where I'm going. And I said, I do.
I know you don't want your kids to be afraid to show their emotion or to let you know when they're feeling that. And there's a real balance as mom to showing the kids it's okay to have days that are tough, and it's okay to cry, and it's okay tomorrow to laugh. And how do you strike that balance?
So last week when everything was kind of going on, the kids were all upstairs playing, you know, Christmas toys galore, let's explore. And I was down here doing dishes and cleaning up from dinner, and I thought, oh, they're all upstairs playing, and I was just having a moment. And I stood at the kitchen sink and I lost it, and I cried hard. And it was one of those cries that it hurt from the stomach up. It was just that deep, emotional, gut-wrenching cry. And I was bent over on the kitchen sink just bawling. And Jack, my oldest, came running down the stairs. I thought he was in his room, but he was in our office, so he heard me. And he came running in over there, and he stood at the sink, and he goes, Mom, is Dad okay? It just crushed me. I said, honey, Daddy's fine. Daddy's fine. And then he had that look of confusion. He goes, but you're not fine. And I said, I'm not fine right now. And he goes, you just miss Daddy. I said, I do. And he didn't say anything else, but he took those arms and wrapped them around me, and he hugged and hugged and hugged. And I said, buddy, this is exactly what Mommy needed. You know, I said, I'm sorry I scared you, because I think it did scare him. And he said, Mom, I love you so much. I said, I love you too. And he goes, I'll always hug you. And I said, I need that, buddy. And he goes, because you miss Daddy. And I said, yeah, I miss Daddy. So I think the kids see that emotional display from me sometimes. And I want them to see it, not in a scary way, but in a way, first of all, it shows them how much I love their father. I think that's important, that children know how much their moms and dads love each other. But also I want them to understand, this is our life, guys. This is what happens. And it's okay that we're sad, because tomorrow's a new day, and tomorrow, hopefully, Mommy won't have these crying fits, but he came at the right time for me. This is the reality of when you marry somebody that's in the military. Well, it's February and we've made it to the halfway point, I can officially say, of this deployment. Sing Madison's part, sing it loud. Ready?
I'm going down to the basement, y'all. A peep and a good
We're at war with a very, very dangerous, lethal enemy.
Tell me what life looks like for you these days in that quarantine, stay-at-home life.
Yeah, it's a little different than what I was expecting this to be. This is not kind of how I envisioned this deployment. I'm trying to teach our older three and get their schoolwork accomplished with them, get the 4-year-old her preschool curriculum, or the now 4-year-old her preschool curriculum. I also have my students at school that I'm trying to take care of, and my families that I'm trying to connect with. So it's a lot right now. I needed something good today, so I decided to call our local pizza shop. I called Donato's, and I sent a big pizza order over to our Kroger store, because our staff at Kroger has just been amazing with stocking shelves and working around the clock to make sure food and water and toilet paper and all that stuff is in there for our community. We still had a recital. It was just something a little different. So all the parents recorded their kids at home, and our studio owner's husband is a videographer, so he put together a video basically of all the girls dancing, and we watched it at Sports Ohio on a big drive-in movie screen, and we had a drive-in recital.
And now the pandemic has changed everything as the family quarantines here at home. The unrest at the start of the year quiets down overseas, but Alex's return gets pushed back as the world pivots amid the threat of coronavirus. The deployment moves forward, and slowly, life comes back. The Rosanskis find comfort in one of their family's favorite pastimes. They're also about to say a very tough goodbye as the summer begins.
We are in the thick of baseball season right now. We're lucky we get to play baseball. We live, eat, sleep, breathe baseball. Go guys! When COVID kind of hit, it was that uncertainty like everybody felt of what we were going to do kind of thing. So the fact that he gets to play, come on, Jack! I've just seen a big attitude change with him. It's his thing. And I think it's also important for him because he's around 4 guys that coach him. And they kind of take that place right now of that male influence that he needs and that male role model. So for him, it's something that it's pretty important. It's beyond swinging bats and catching balls for him. Baseball is the most American pastime you can get, right? And so when they're playing the national anthem and your kid's getting ready to go play ball and you think about where your husband is, it does hit you. It gives you that overwhelming feeling of it's a sacrifice and we know that, but this is why and this is what he's doing. So it makes it worth it. He was moved out of Kuwait about a month ago and he is actually in a small city in Saudi Arabia right now.
He also had some news that was
Yes.
really tough. What did he tell you today?
So timelines are a little behind. He's not coming home when we thought he would be. So that was my bad news day today. So it's one of those things where I feel like I get comfortable knowing when he's coming home and then it changes. And then I got comfortable knowing when he was coming home and then COVID happened. And then I got comfortable knowing he was in Kuwait and then he got moved, to another base. So everything is just constantly changing. So we were given a timeline of end of August that he should be at Fort Bliss, Texas. And then mid-September, he would have been back home in Ohio. And it just doesn't look like that's probably gonna happen right now. So we'll just keep waiting. You kind of look around and it's like, mom, dad, kid, mom, dad, kid, mom, dad, kid. I think at that point it really hit me that it was kind of hard, all these things that we do. And it's not because he's not here and I have to run the kids here and run the kids there and set up the chairs it's not that kind of stuff. It's that feeling of I'm alone. And that's hard for me. And I think it probably bothers me more than it bothers the kids. But, during my downtime, it's me. And I kind of want somebody there to talk, this is how the game went or this is how we did. I just want him to come home. It's just getting to that point where I felt like we were getting close and then there was a delay. And then we got closer and then there was a delay. So at this point, it's like, I don't even know what to expect anymore.
So today has probably been the most difficult day since Alex left. And it was one of those days that I was hoping I could hold on to until he got home so he could be here with me. But unfortunately that didn't happen. And I think I was anticipating that. But in the back of your mind, you just kind of hope and pray that it doesn't happen. And before Alex left, I told him to say goodbye to Charlie because I was afraid that Charlie would not make it and would not be here. And unfortunately, that is what ended up happening. We were so close to Alex coming home and I was kind of hoping I could wait to have Charlie put to sleep. But last night was a really rough night for him and he fell and couldn't get up. And, for big dogs, 14 is very old and their hips just aren't made to last that long. So I had that difficult decision today of putting Charlie to sleep. I finally made that decision that it would be selfish for me to keep him alive until Alex got home. So we lost our dog today and I felt really bad having to call Alex to let him know that that was the decision I had made, and I kind of talked to him about it to make sure that he was okay with it. And of course he supported everything that I said and really felt that it was the right thing to do because Charlie was kind of fading away and it was just time. I was hoping he could have lived just a little bit longer, but it was definitely time for my old man to go across that rainbow bridge. Today was not a good day for this house, but tomorrow is tomorrow and we'll keep plugging along.
It's been quite a summer. I can't believe it's over already. 4th of July came and it was like, what happened? We're wrapping things up, but we're counting down. We're counting down days. We're still waiting for the official date, but we're getting closer and closer every day. And that's kind of why we created our chain so that we could take one off every day, and kind of count down. We're waiting on the official date, but visually it's easier for them if they can kind of see that we're getting closer.
And every day we take one off.
Another one bites the dust, right? Yes! So now that school is getting ready to start, we've talked a lot about school starting, and then we have a lot of the questions of, well, then when is this happening? How close are we? And I just keep explaining it to them that once school starts and then it turns September, when we know we have Labor Day off, because they know what Labor Day is. Once Labor Day comes, it's anytime. Like, we will just wait for Daddy to call and say, I'm in Kuwait, I'm headed, to Texas.
We're getting closer.
We're so close. I can smell it. We're getting there.
So where do things stand for you with work, school for the kids?
Yeah.
How do things look for you guys right now?
They look away. Nobody ever thought they would, that's for sure. My own kids, they are going back to school 2 days a week and then 3 days home. And I'm trying to work out those schedules because I have to have somebody with them those 3 days because Alex isn't home yet. So we're working on schedules for our kids. The youngest is going to preschool. They are still doing preschool like normal. So she'll go 4 days a week, which is great. She's very excited about school. So our kids are pretty much taken care of. For me, it's a little bit different. So I'm reporting to school every day, but I'll be teaching from my classroom remotely. So once Franklin County numbers come down and we decide it's safe to go back to school, we'll do the hybrid model. We're just not there yet. I'll be very honest with you. When he left, I thought, oh my God, this is gonna be the worst year of my life. It's gonna take forever. Things are gonna be horrible. But then school started and I got so busy with the kids. Before I knew it was October and we were going to see him at Fort Bliss. Then we came home and all of a sudden it was Christmas. Now, I will say January and February were very slow, but I didn't have activities with the kids. We were inside a lot because the weather was icky. They weren't out in the neighborhood playing. I wasn't out socializing with the neighbors. So I think that part was a little bit slower. Then March came, and we all know what happened in March. And I thought, again, at that point, here we go. This is going to be the slowest time. And it flew by. It really did. And then baseball started, and things started to somewhat get normal for us. And like I said, the 4th of July came and I was like, oh, we're here, like we're doing this. And so I don't want to say it flew by completely because it did take some moments and some times and the bad days made it worse. And that's always going to happen. But when I look back, I'm like, I did it. I did it. Like, I did this. I didn't think I could. And I did it. But then I also look back and think, oh my gosh, look at what's happened in a year. Look at everything that has happened in a year. So much has changed and so much has happened for us. And it's just kind of amazing. I mean, life does fly by. It really does. Come on, baby, come down.
They tell the guys when they go away, you have battle buddies, but they also tell the spouses, you have a battle buddy too. So my on-call husband is my battle buddy and my dad is my battle buddy because they help me take care of things because there's some things I just can't do and I don't have time for it.
I can hear it creaking. It's just, there we go.
We joked that when Alex was leaving for his deployment that I needed to have some on-call husbands. So my on-call husband, who was in the Marines with my husband, great family, he checks on us a lot.
Here it comes.
Those are the things you just can't account for. And you know they're gonna happen.
Oh, whoa! Wow! Hi ho, it's off to school we go, with an empty room and my kids on Zoom. Hi ho, hi ho, hi ho, hi ho.
See, I have died today. Fight.
Go, Jacob, go! Go, Jacob! Go! Touchdown!
For the past 2 nights, my oldest son has declared war on his mother. He has been shooting me with Nerf balls when I tuck him in. Tonight, it's time for retaliation. I wouldn't necessarily say I want to relive it, but I know I'm going to have to. There's things I would change about it. And there's some things I would maybe do a little bit differently for us and the kids. But I know he's not getting out of the military anytime soon, and I know it'll happen again.
And now it's time to bring their soldier home. Remember, Alex left in the summer of 2019, before the pandemic. Now it's October of 2020. So much has changed. More than a year has passed. Delay after delay after delay finally comes to this moment. Melissa gets her husband back, and then the kids get their dad back in the ultimate surprise. Through tears and laughter, good days and bad, there is joy when a service member comes home.
I don't even know what to say. Today's the day. Like, I get my husband back today. 400 and some odd days he's been gone since we've seen him last. Plus, he was gone about 4 months before that for training. There just are no words. I am so excited to see him and just touch his face and hold his hand and be able to just kiss him. I am by myself, no kids today. Our kids are going to get the surprise of a lifetime tomorrow when we get to come home and surprise them. But tonight it's just my husband and I. We're gonna go to a very expensive and very lovely dinner together. He can tell me about all his experiences that he couldn't tell me about when he was over there, and it can just be us.
It's kind of like Christmas. You're just so excited.
Explain where we are right now, because we're not in Central Ohio.
No. Unfortunately, he could not fly into Columbus, which would have been fantastic. But we're up in Canton at the Armory here, and they are flying into the Akron-Canton Airport. Yeah. So
this is a very different scene compared to the last time you welcomed Alex home. Describe the difference last time versus what you see this time.
Right. You know, the deployments he had with the Marine Corps were definitely a lot different than this. The homecomings, the war had just started. So when he was coming home with Lima Company and they had lost 45 guys that were killed in action, it was definitely a bigger homecoming than what we were expecting here. The whole city of Columbus almost shut down to welcome those guys home just because it was so horrific what they went through. So when you see the highways lined with flags and the firefighters out and schools were out with banners, and you know, it was very emotional, but it was also a different time and the war had just started. So for him to transition to a deployment like this, where it was just a little bit more calm, it's a big difference. And you know, with COVID going on, there's obviously no welcome home party, no welcome home ceremony. He has sacrificed so much, and he will continue to sacrifice. You know, to have your brother killed in action and to not quit and to not give up and to keep going, that's a very difficult thing to do. And Alex has never allowed his brother's death to define him. And I really didn't think I could be more proud of him than that moment. And that still for me is my proudest moment of him. We're just glad he's home because we didn't get this with the last Rosansky deployment.
Lots happened. It's a different world that'll be coming home to.
So much has happened since he's been gone, and it's just been a lot longer than we anticipated. So there are no words, really.
And so today, all of that,
it's over. Yeah, it's finally over. There they are. They're home. Yeah.
You can look at me. You can look at me.
Don't believe it yet. It's been a while. It's beautiful.
Got my husband home! Finally!
It's good. It's good to see green trees and green grass. I've seen a lot of desert for the last well over a year. It just feels like home, and it feels wonderful. It's hard to believe. I mean, it feels like, I don't know. It's been a long time, but I don't know. You haven't changed. I love you.
How excited are you for tomorrow?
I'm just afraid I'm not going to recognize them.
All right, so one more big surprise tomorrow, and then it's over. We're going to surprise the kids tomorrow. They think Daddy is coming home on Sunday, and so we're going to go tomorrow. They think you guys are just coming for our last family interview before he comes home, and then luckily he will just happen to be with me.
Guys, I know it's been a long year. Tell me what is happening
this weekend?
Daddy's coming home.
Daddy's coming home. I know you guys have missed him so much. What are some of the things that you've missed the most?
Taking him out to eat, his bald head.
His bald head. His bald head. What do you want to tell your dad? Are you proud?
I'm gonna say, Sergeant Rosansky, come home with us.
I think that sounds like a good message.
Hi. Hi, Amy. Hi, buddy.
Daddy!
Missed you guys.
Look who's home, guys. It's your dad. Hey, it's okay. He's home. It's over. It's over. Okay? It's all over.
Miss Emily, who's here?
Daddy.
Daddy. Daddy is home. Are you so happy?
You guys surprised?
Yep.
What went through your mind and your heart when you saw these four?
I hardly recognize them, especially this one. Grown so much. Yeah. It's wonderful and sad at the same time. They've grown so much, and I feel like I've missed a lot, but it's just great. It's great to be home. Feel whole. Feel complete now.
It was really hard yesterday, like when we were up at the armory, because all the families were together, and it was just that anticipation, I think, of knowing what today was going to be like. And it was funny, on the way home I said, "Are you nervous?" And he said, "I'm so nervous, you know."
Yeah, there's a lot more sacrifice than you think, especially with family, especially at this age. You know, I've missed so much, but at the same time, I mean, we've kept in touch, and you know, I've been included in all the big events, you know, remotely, baseball and dance and school. But yeah, I just can't get over, you know, how much they've changed physically, especially this one. It's a job. I mean, it's a choice, but it makes you appreciate, you know, what I have, you know, what we have. I'm just one story. I mean, there's you know, tens of thousands of service members, hundreds of thousands. So, you know, we all have our stories, and there's you know, I'm just one of many.
It's a good day. We're whole again.
So now that Daddy's home, what's the first thing you're gonna do?
What? Tonight we should all watch a movie together.
I think that sounds amazing.
And have Grandpa's popcorn.
Oh, there we go. And maybe a fire outside.
Yeah, can you get that new... Daddy, I'll help you build the new campfire.
Okay, yeah, thank you.
The Rosansky sandwich is complete, right?
Oh,
squeeze! Oh! Boop. Does it feel so good?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you guys.
Yay! Daddy, Daddy.
You know, in many ways, it's sometimes I feel like I never left, and in many ways, you know, things are different. It's amazing how fast the COVID's become sort of the new normal. Homeschool, which is a lot more challenging than I thought. You know, you'd think 5th and 6th grade math would be easy, but there's a lot I forgot. You know, grammar as well. What? Oh! I figure I haven't seen snow in, you know, I don't know, a couple of years it seems like. Just looking forward to, I don't know, just the decorations. I mean, I love doing this, something I didn't get to do last year. You know, Christmas in the desert, just not the same.
Yay!
So don't forget that side. I wanted the house decorated quickly, like ready to go. And I thought when I asked him to get stuff out, he'd be like, no, let's wait till after Thanksgiving. And he was more excited than I think the kids were. And at one point I heard Alex go, I didn't get Christmas last year. We're getting everything out. Like, let's go. And he was just jumping to it and raring and ready to go. And I was like, oh yeah, he didn't get this.
Hey, Daddy.
Would you say you're in the Christmas spirit this year?
Just a little. The snow didn't help. Yeah, we're definitely in the Christmas spirit this year. Emily, what do you want for Christmas?
A watch.
A watch? What do you want?
Great.
I don't know. We want a puppy.
That's the
hot topic.
That's the hot topic right now, puppy. We lost our dog while I was gone. Yeah, it's definitely quieter around here. So we're debating a dog.
Which one's your favorite? Is it this one?
You definitely learn to appreciate what you have. I'm glad I came back at a good time, right before the holidays. And if anything, the global pandemic's been good for my reintegration. It's more time I can spend with them, being home from school and working from home.
It's more than just missing birthday parties and Christmases and dance recitals and baseball games. And I think when a lot of people think of service as a family, they think like how bad for Alex that he missed these things. But it's more than that. We are in this together, and he serves, I serve, we do it together. Mine just looks different than what his does.
I hope I don't deploy again, but it's part of the deal. If I'm needed, if I'm useful to somebody, to the National Guard, then by all means, I'll do it.
I want him to continue to serve as long as he wants to, and I don't want him to go away again, but like Alex said, if that's what has to happen, then that's what happens, and we do it again.